stuff around JayZ right now, which is clearly damaging to him.
Yeah, and I think there's like a famous quote from someone who was acquitted, and he said, all right, where do I go to get my reputation back?
Right.
I mean, social media was a light. Beyonce's next, JayZ's next, all the people in the inner circle is next.
Yeah, and the problem is there are just so many pictures of the two of them partying together, and it clearly was at a load of Diddy parties.
In particular, Netflix docuseries that you've been working on, Diddy Do It.
Right.
You've been saying for years that you feel you knew Diddy's character.
Right.
Yet you said you weren't a part of that lifestyle, you weren't going to the parties. So what makes you so absolutely sure that these kinds of allegations that we've seen against him are true?
Well, I'm surprised by the allegations, as surprised as everyone else is. Like, I didn't make the allegations, I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else, but I did feel uncomfortable with the way you represent the idea of going to these projects.
To come party with me.
Yeah.
How powerful was JayZ when you were doing business with him? Was he already a power player where if he wanted to ruin someone's life or make somebody a star, he could do it?
I met JayZ and I signed to Rock Nation. I didn't want to drip myself in blood and cover myself in swimming goop, in black goop, and fucking like wear devil horns to fucking sell a record. Fuck that. Or be a witch, or be that, all of that.
The moment Diddy's arrest blasted across the news, the whole industry shifted like someone had yanked a switch in a room loaded with hidden truth. And the quietest reaction came from the one man who usually controls his own storyline better than anyone, JayZ. One minute he's everywhere, courtside, backstage, slipping into private events, showing up at major deals, and the next minute he's gone like he ducked into a sealed-off tunnel only he knows about. What made it even weirder wasn't just the timing, but how the people around him moved like they'd been told to shut everything tight. No comments, no explanations, no public sightings. The same image management team that normally keeps him spotless suddenly went silent. And nobody believed the idea that a billionaire who's always visible just disappeared for time off. Not when his longtime industry rival was getting taken in, and insiders were hinting that investigators were looking deeper into old groups, old connections, and old business ties that overlapped far more than fans ever knew. The talk online spread fast. If Diddy supposedly kept secrets, videos, and proof on nearly everyone who came near him, then who else might be tangled in the same circle? And that's when Jay's sudden vanishing act started sounding less like coincidence. Every time Diddy's name blew up online, Jay's name got dragged into the mix from every angle. Old party rumors, past associations, shared moves in business that people claimed had layers nobody truly understood. And through all the chaos, one voice cut through the loudest, 50 Cent. He didn't just tease him, he didn't just joke around. He lined up the clues sharply, saying Jay's silence wasn't random at all. To him, it looked intentional, like someone stepping back to avoid a storm they already sensed was coming. 50's been tracking this whole thing like he's watching through high-power binoculars, calling out details even fans never noticed.
Always been the type of individual that want to have ups on the next person no matter what they was doing. He did the stuff to Ja Rule so he could go after JayZ. They not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them, and they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. Until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. Hey, buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love. That's when they're gonna start talking. And they're not gonna be talking in his favor. 250 cameras all over the house? Somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. When you that powerful, you didn't get that powerful without having 1 or 2 or maybe 3 up.
He said that anyone who's been near the top level of the industry knows how tightly these circles are linked, and that nobody who stood close to Diddy during his biggest years is resting easy right now, especially not someone who was photographed with the same power players, brought into the same private gatherings, and rumored to have stepped into rooms that are now being mentioned for all the wrong reasons. 50 didn't claim Jay did anything, but he made his point clear. When the lights flip on in a dark room, even the innocent jump, he hinted, and Jay disappearing looked exactly like that. The move of someone choosing space instead of getting caught in a risky situation. What made it feel even more questionable was that Jay had major plans on the calendar, public events, important meetings, media projects, and suddenly all of it got pushed back without any real reasons. His PR team only repeated that he was unavailable. Unavailable for what? That's the line fans and insiders couldn't stop asking, because billionaires don't go missing unless they're dodging something that could shake the empire they built. This didn't feel like vacation mode. It felt like a strategic shutdown, and everyone sensed it instantly. As Diddy's case widened, investigators started digging through old networks, past party lists, and long-standing circles people once believed were untouchable. And with every new rumor that surfaced, Jay's name kept floating around like a shadow that wouldn't leave. The industry knows these two share history, not close friend history, but the kind of professional closeness where you cross paths at the highest level and witness things the public never sees. So when authorities began checking attendees and connections from past events, fans spotted something surprising. Jay showed up at more of those gatherings than people remembered. That's when the internet caught fire. Forums, podcast hosts, and gossip pages pulled up old photos, timelines, and backstage clips that suddenly felt different in this new context. The timing of Jay's disappearance lined up almost perfectly with the moment investigators reportedly pulled Diddy's travel logs and event archives. And as if that wasn't already suspicious, insiders claimed Jay's team began wiping his online presence, taking down certain pictures, hiding old articles, and removing traces that linked him to places he didn't want brought back. Not because he was guilty, but because even being seen in those rooms could spark chaos if people started connecting dots carelessly. And that's where 50 Cent jumped in again. He highlighted the timing with a grin, saying every huge empire has weak spots that stay hidden until the pressure hits. To him, Jay stepping back wasn't random.
But so you didn't realize
as much stuff was coming. Like when I seen today, it was allegations of 3 men that said he drugged them, and it's a long time, to be honest with you. Like when people don't remember being violated for 20 years, it makes me feel a little hard.
What are your thoughts on the allegations against JayZ?
That was interesting. When I was saying things not knowing exactly what I was saying, but I was going, where's Jay at? He's mad quiet. Like while the Puffy thing was going on. But it's obvious now that his team was being made aware that he was in those allegations also. So I hope it works out, because with his family, the things that go on internally is that
It was the action of someone who understood that being near trouble could easily be blown up into something much larger. Amid all this, one thing became obvious: the industry silence. Normally, whenever Jay disappears, someone from his team leaks a piece of information, a small reassurance, a casual sighting, a vague comment to calm fans. But this time, nothing. Complete quiet. Even artists who usually rely on his guidance stayed muted, like someone had told them to keep low. People began questioning whether this was a defensive move or a warning that things behind the scenes were more serious than anyone imagined. A few insiders said Jay had left the country, staying in private estates where cameras couldn't follow him. Others claimed he was locked in intense meetings with his legal and business advisors, figuring out how to shield himself from possible fallout. Then there were whispers of something symbolic, that Jay was stepping away from a whole era of industry culture now under scrutiny. An era rarely spoken about openly, because revealing the wrong fact at the wrong moment could destroy reputations. But 50 Cent kept the conversation alive. He joked about Jay going underground, like someone avoiding a storm that hadn't even fully hit yet. He suggested Jay knew what was coming before the public did, and that his sudden disappearance was proof of how serious the situation really was. Whether he was joking or speaking truth, the internet lapped it up. Because when a man who usually moves with precision suddenly goes silent, it's never accidental. Public attention spiked when people noticed strange shifts in Jay's business activity. Announcements for big deals got delayed, partnerships that usually thrived in the spotlight went quiet. Analysts tracking billionaire behavior noted that Jay's financial moves seemed frozen. No new investments, no visible decisions, no forward motion. For someone who runs business like a chess game, this kind of halt felt intentional. Like he wasn't just avoiding cameras, he was avoiding exposure entirely. Then a rumor emerged that escalated the situation even further. Sources claimed Jay had scheduled multiple private meetings with lawyers right before disappearing. Not because he was in legal trouble, but to be ready for any fallout stemming from Diddy's case. Even innocent people hire top legal teams when they orbit someone under heavy investigation. It's never about guilt, it's about protection. And in this world, protection always starts with preparation.
Sean Combs' The Reckoning is hitting Netflix on December 2nd. 50 Cent captioned it, "They said I was capping. What happened?" And it's been so long at this point, I thought maybe he was really just joking and this documentary wasn't happening, but obviously I was wrong. Because this is actually official. Not only is 50 Cent just posting this, so he's not trolling, it's being confirmed by multiple media outlets. And I have a feeling right now Diddy is sweating about what 50 Cent is about to put in this documentary. You know, 50 Cent's connection when it came to the Diddy trial. Not only that, we cannot forget during this Diddy trial, it was alleged that Diddy wanted to off 50 Cent. 50 Cent stays trolling Diddy, so I am afraid that he is probably about to drag Diddy for filth in this documentary. It's about to be so bad.
50 Cent grabbed all this info and ran with it his own way, turning subtle posts into viral moments. He teased old parties, familiar faces, and people suddenly going quiet now that the spotlight was on. He never said Jay's name directly, but the timing made fans connect the dots immediately. That's what kept the story moving, not accusations, but the idea of being visible. Being linked to someone under intense investigation can make anyone a subject of speculation, even if they've done nothing wrong. People went back to old interviews, recalling comments Jay made about stepping away from certain circles. Fans shared screenshots of vintage photos, pointing out people in the background now under scrutiny. One clip of Jay entering an event with Diddy years ago resurfaced and went viral, not because it proved anything, but because in today's context, the vibe looked different. Moments that once seemed harmless now hinted at something bigger. As speculation mounted, so did the mystery. If Jay had nothing to hide, why vanish so suddenly? Why halt public appearances so firmly? Why remain unreachable across all platforms? Critics argued he was just protecting his brand. Supporters said he was avoiding getting dragged into a story that wasn't his. But the streets watch timing and patterns closely, and the timing here was uncanny. Intentional or not, Jay's silence created an information gap filled with rumors, theories, and resurfaced industry tales long forgotten. Through it all, 50 Cent kept the pressure, reminding everyone that big stars don't hide from the spotlight unless deep shadows follow them. The further Diddy's case expanded, the more entertainment circles started talking about a period of elite parties, events, and private gatherings that once seemed untouchable. These weren't ordinary Hollywood nights. They were exclusive spaces with strict no-phone rules, curated guest lists, and layers of privacy protecting reputations. Jay, as one of the generation's biggest cultural figures, had attended more of these than fans realized. That wasn't a crime, that was the business. But once investigators started digging, the meaning of those events shifted instantly. The story wasn't about wrongdoing, it was about proximity. Being too close to someone now under scrutiny could drag your name into conversations you never wanted. And that was the pressure Jay avoided by stepping out of view. Public appearances would have drawn cameras, reporters, and questions. Once his name surfaced, it wouldn't disappear. So he did what the powerful do when the stakes rise. He vanished intentionally. Meanwhile, 50 Cent fueled the narrative skillfully. He joked about celebrities running for cover, posted memes about disappearing acts, and hinted that more names might vanish before the chaos ended. Fans know 50 doesn't joke without reason. His posts signal knowledge he's not revealing. His constant jabs at elites made people wonder about deeper stories still hidden. Jay's associates didn't help either. Their silence looked coordinated, as if instructed to maintain control. No leaks, no casual remarks, no mistakes. Artists connected to Jay stayed quiet. Business partners stayed low. Even publicists known for spinning stories acted as if their phones were off. The whole scenario felt like a blackout, not accidental, but deliberate. Online investigators began mapping timelines, linking events, and creating digital charts of who was where and when. Every time they updated, Jay's presence or absence stood out. While others were photographed, he wasn't. While others commented publicly, he didn't. While others posted content, he paused everything. It was as if he was waiting out the storm. This silence raised a bigger question. Was Jay protecting himself or something larger? His legacy, his family, his empire, or avoiding collateral damage in a story not his own? Fans debated endlessly, but 50 Cent kept insisting that in this world, distance is never random, it's deliberate. And Jay's distance was the most calculated move of the year. Then reports emerged that shifted everything. Insiders said Jay had private meetings with people once close to Diddy. These weren't public events, just quiet talks in secured rooms with NDAs on the table. The goal wasn't fully known, but insiders believed it was to make sure no false information or reckless speculation linked Jay to Diddy's current situation. In short, he was setting boundaries. Meanwhile, 50 Cent doubled down online, posting cryptic messages implying that multiple figures were vanishing at the same time. Fans immediately tied it to Jay. The timing was too perfect. Even without naming him, the implication went viral. Memes flooded timelines, bloggers ran the story, analysts questioned how one of entertainment's most visible men suddenly disappeared. Observers noticed another shift. Jay's big brand deals and business partnerships stalled or changed. Sources said companies paused campaigns tied to anyone from Diddy's circle, not because Jay was implicated, but because brands avoid risk. Anything linked to that era was now unpredictable. That made controlling his moves even more critical. One wrong headline could cost millions. One misread photo could trigger weeks of damage control. So Jay stayed out of sight, protecting the empire he built over decades. He plays the long game, and disappearing was part of it. 50 continued stoking the fire, hinting at old secrets and hidden names. No direct accusations, just implications. In celebrity culture, implications hit harder than facts. They create a fog the public can't resist. Jay's absence gave that fog room to grow. Fans debated. Some thought he was avoiding another person's problem. Others suspected he knew deeper trouble was coming. And some argued the elites were distancing themselves as investigations widened. Whatever the truth, one thing remained. Jay stayed silent. No tweet, no statement, no sighting. That silence became a story itself. The world waited for him to speak, but he didn't. Weeks turned to months, and Jay's vanishing act became one of modern entertainment's biggest mysteries. Not because he was accused, but because silence from such a powerful figure signals the backstage atmosphere is heavier than most realize. The entertainment world was shifting. Old eras, circles, and alliances were under scrutiny. Diddy's arrest exposed a chapter no one expected to revisit. Every name tied to it felt pressure. Jay's disappearance wasn't just timing, it was survival. In a world where rumors become stories overnight and stories destroy reputations faster than proof, vanishing was the safest move. He let the storm move around him instead of through him. While the public speculated, 50 Cent kept firing online as investigators expanded their search. Jay stayed committed to the strategy billionaires trust most, controlled silence. By the time Diddy's case revealed new developments, Jay had become a symbol, the man who stepped aside as the ground shook. Some saw caution, others calculation, but everyone agreed the timing was sharp. As the walls closed in on the old party era, Jay made sure he wasn't caught in it. Not out of guilt, but because he understood survival at the top. Trouble doesn't wait for you, you move before it arrives. 50 Cent, meanwhile, kept amplifying the story through humor, commentary, and timing. Each post grew the narrative. Each joke connected unseen dots. 50 wasn't just pointing out people, he was exposing the fragile nature of power when its system starts cracking. His role wasn't just trolling, he was the megaphone making the silence speak louder. In the end, Jay's disappearance became a message, a blueprint for how top figures navigate chaos without entering it. He didn't speak, he didn't explain, he didn't defend. He simply moved out of harm's way and let the world interpret his strategy however it wanted. That's why his absence became one of the year's biggest talking points. And if you want more deep dive breakdowns like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next upload.